Well, I hope everyone had a great Father's Day weekend. Thank you to all the amazing men out there who taught us what it's like to be a good father, just like Jordan Love is to the rest of the division. Guys, we have a great episode today. We're going to talk AFC North. There's a lot going on, obviously, with a very special guest who's going to join me later. And guys, guess what? I'm back in California. I absolutely love coming back here because I get to see my team, a team that supports me, that understands me, unlike Shemar, Stewart, and the Bengals. From Wondery, I'm Agar, and this is The Offensive Line. Welcome to The Offensive Line, you guys. We're here to make some picks, talk some shit, and hopefully make you some money. Coming up in a little bit, we have a special guest joining us to talk more about Aaron Rodgers and his new team. He's former Steelers offensive lineman and current sideline reporter, Max Starks. But first, guys, we have a lot to get to this week in the NFL. As I mentioned in my intro, it is not paradise in Cincinnati right now. NFL sack leader Trey Hendrickson is still holding out, guys. It's like the Bengals are allergic to getting deals done in the offseason. I don't understand it. But what's one thing you can't do when your star edge rusher is holding out? I don't know. Maybe have a dispute with the guy you drafted to replace him, which is also what's happening. In case you hadn't heard, rookie first-rounder Shemar Stewart left camp after not signing his deal due to void language in the contract, guys. Now, I know you guys are thinking, okay, he is a rookie and he should not be pushing back. What weight can he pull with his contract? But here is where it breaks down, in my opinion, okay? All he's asking for is no default clause in his contract, which basically says that they can't void any future guaranteed money, which is apparently very common terminology in contracts for a first-round draft pick. But for some reason, Cincinnati doesn't see fit to put that terminology in this contract for an unknown reason. You know, let's just make it more difficult to be difficult, is basically what Cincinnati's doing. How in God's name are you still having contract disputes with your defense? A team that gave up 434 points last year, guys. The Jags, Titans, and Browns were the only other teams to give up more. And look where they all drafted. You're telling me this is a team that's not going to start off slow again this year? Get out of town, okay? Bengals front office, figure it out. The Bengals are insisting, just to break down the contract a little bit more for Shemar, because I'm in his corner on this one. All right? I know the Trey Hendrickson deal, he pulls all the weight in that contract. They need to sign him. They need to give him money immediately. But for Shemar Stewart, in any year of the contract, it would void all of his remaining guarantees. That's the biggest part, I think. And he just wants some guaranteed money out here, guys. I'm a fan. You know what, Shemar? I'll go to war with you. He's also, if we all remember, and I only know this because Packers fans out here, he was on our draft board for a little bit. He was in a couple mock drafts for me. He only had 1.5 sacks. So there was a concern when they first drafted it a little bit. We were thinking, what was the production level? But he is going to be a starter immediately. This is a guy that will affect the Bengals right from the jump. Okay, so they need him to play. They need him to play opposite Trey Hendrickson. They don't even have a Trey Hendrickson to play opposite of right now. That's just hilarious to me. God, figure it out, Cincinnati. It begs the question, does contract holdouts every year lead to these slow starts? Because as we know, Zach Taylor, not known to start quick. I don't know what he does in training camp in the offseason, and maybe it is the contracts. Maybe they're sitting over there in their office, twiddling their thumbs, trying to figure out how to pay their players because they paid $70 million to guys like T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, which is, it's respected. I get it. And Joe Burrow, obviously a big contract there. Maybe you should figure out your defense. Maybe that would get you off to a quicker start. I don't know. It's guaranteed for the first 3 games of the season, everybody's going to be asleep over there. It happens every time. And then it's hard to get back from that. Like, it's hard to, when you start out that slow in the NFL, you can't afford to do that. Everybody knows that. I don't have much confidence in it. Could we see him hold out the whole year? And here's a thought. Re-enter the draft. Would that not be the craziest thing to happen? Stranger things have happened, guys. Stranger things have happened in the AFC North. I wouldn't put it past him. I'm on board with it. And then the question with Joe Burrow, how long till he demands a trade? You are wasting prime Joe Burrow years, okay? One of the best top 4 quarterback right now in the NFL, some would say. And you're wasting his potential with no defense. But don't worry, Cincinnati, because everybody will probably forget about this and the drama with your contracts and your defense, because your team's leader, Joe Burrow, is here to distract you from all of that. Okay, all of the impending doom, the best way he knows how. Probably wearing suits that his lesbian friend gave him and styling his hair like he's going to hit on a bunch of moms at the pool. That was a Billy from Stranger Things reference, by the way, guys. I don't know if you guys saw, we have to debrief this a little bit. I don't know if you guys saw a tweet went viral of Joe Burrow's hair. This right here, guys, this is an old edited, emphasis on edited photo of Joe Burrow. It made the rounds again this weekend. I don't know if you guys saw this last year. It went pretty viral last year, too, because people were freaking out. This is not real. I don't know if it's AI. It's just some really good editing. Looking a little Billy from Stranger Things-esque, don't you guys think? Or Anakin Skywalker. Both have been thrown around. Both not accurate. This is what he actually looks like this year, you guys. Just for a little reference. There it is. Look at that. The headband. We've seen the headband before. We're no stranger to the headband. So it is long hair. Just a little bit more upkept. Not Anakin Skywalker, that's for sure. We can't forget, though, and it is pretty blonde here. I know all about fake blonde. We can't forget about the blonde hair, okay? He had some extreme blonde hair. Look, remember when teams in high school used to dye their hair blonde? They still do, I believe. For like playoffs, that was this. That was whatever box dye you could find at Walgreens. That's pretty bad. Again, not that I would know because I never dyed my hair myself. Al natural, you guys. This is all natural. And then the other side, I don't even know what was going on. Slim Shady kind of happened over there. But I want to know, is it just Joe Burrow that makes it look cool like that? Or could anybody pull this off? Guys, is it just because it's Joe Burrow? Oh, look at this. Wait. I basically could be in Stranger Things, guys. Look at the flow. I kind of look like a president, like John Adams or something. This is very George Washington of me. So there's your answer right there. Or I have like mutton chops. What is going on? Now there's some dead thing on my head. Tell me that doesn't look like a possum. Guys, I don't think this is this reminds me of those games where you'd like dress up your Barbie when we were little. I don't know, just me. That gives you your answer right there. I do not think this is anybody could pull this off. It's Joe Burrow. Same with what he wears, you guys. When he's walking, pregame fits, nobody else could pull that off other than Joe Burrow. That is your proof right there. It did not look good. Let me just tell you right now. For those of you who couldn't see that, it did not look great. I'm in LA, but I don't think I could pull off some LA fashion yet. Guys, but just to specify, I'm not blaming Joe Burrow here. He can do whatever the hell he wants. If he's giving his team 30 to 40 points comfort every game, just for his defense to let him down more than prime Drew Brees, do whatever the hell you want, my guy. Shave your head for all I care. Wear pink suits every day. I could care less. Couldn't care less. Always get that saying wrong. Because this man is in his prime and he's still giving his team a chance to win, a chance to make the playoffs. Guys, they almost made the playoffs last year. Came down to Kansas City. Came down to Carson Wentz. Poor Joe Burrow. Get him the hell out of there or get him a defense. That's all I have to say. All right, guys, let's move on to another AFC North team, the Browns. This entire division, we're just going to be talking about them the entire day because there's a lot to get to. ESPN Cleveland has been releasing stats for each day at camp. So we're getting a bit of insight, if you want to call it that, as to how things are going in Cleveland. A huge issue with this, by the way. Look at the stats here. All right, we have Joe. Obviously, we have this amazing quarterback battle. Flacco, Sanders, Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel, all completions, touchdowns, interceptions. What the hell does this even mean? Is this even, this could be no contact 7-on-7, which is basically what playing the Bengals would be like. But anyway, this is a very interesting that they're releasing these stats because we have no basis on any of this. What is it? Are they're playing the third string guys? Is there even a defense on the field? There's an interception in there that you saw, I'm sure, that Sanders threw. How the hell are we supposed to know? Isn't minicamp basically supposed to be running through plays? And Flacco knows the playbook, by the way. So of course he's going to get more reps than anybody. Do not read into this propaganda, guys. There's a trend on TikTok right now. It's propaganda I fall for. Do not fall for this propaganda. I don't get those stats out of my face. I don't want to see any minicamp stats. In particular, Jordan Love. Don't show me any stats from that, please. But this quarterback battle stat thing, get them out of my face. They shouldn't be on Twitter. There should be those little, the little disclaimer at the bottom. Do not take these as legit. And people in the comments did, guys. Oh, they did. But this got me thinking, you guys, if we're playing into these stats with no context, there might be a chance here to do a little promotion of each quarterback. They need a little bit of help in the propaganda department, which is why I put together campaign ads for each quarterback. Okay? So this is the time for them to shine. This is the time to plead their case, and I'm going to help them. Let's start with Shedeur Sanders. All right, this is his campaign ad. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to literally have the greatest quarterback your franchise has ever had? Well, find out today. Start Shedeur Sanders, because legendary seasons start with legendary quarterbacks. Paid for by Mel Kiper. Then let's go over to Dillon Gabriel. The man is in his corner. Dillon Gabriel, basically very simple, was a one-liner. These slogans sometimes work the best in campaign ads. Start me, I'm not Shedeur. We all know, buddy. That's why they drafted you first. Let's move on to Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's campaign ad would be, I may have small hands, but I make big promises. Paid for by O'Keefe's Working Hands. Now brought to you in travel size. Then let's go over to Joe Flacco. This might be my personal favorite. Joe Flacco's campaign ad. His pitch to society to start him. Someone once said, age is just a number. Find out if that's true this year with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco for the times when you don't give a flying f***o. And then Deshaun Watson, guys. This is pretty simple. It's just one saying again, just like Dillon Gabriel. I don't even want to be here. Don't worry, buddy. We don't want you here either. So, you know what? That's going to play out how it wants to play out. And I thought this would be a good time to play a little game. Start, bench, cut. Because I personally have an opinion on who should start, who we should bench, and who we should cut. I'm going to go with you start Joe Flacco. You start the vet. I know everybody's going to complain about it. He knows the playbook. Don't start your rookie yet. Get a few wins under your belt first. If his game goes to hell, then we'll bring in a rookie, and I would bring in Dillon Gabriel. A franchise like the Browns, they don't need someone to come in, Shedeur Sanders come in, disappoint them. They're already pissed. They're already pissed at the organization. I wouldn't do that. So I'd start Flacco, bench Dillon Gabriel for a little bit, if you can even call it benching that, because we haven't even started him yet. And then if you can cut anybody, cut Deshaun Watson, if that's your option, or Kenny Pickett. I see Kenny Pickett maybe not making. I don't know where they are. Again, don't look at the depth chart, guys. There's no depth chart in my opinion. It is June. Everybody calm down about the Browns. Will I calm down about it? Probably not. We're going to probably talk about it for a couple more episodes because that's what we do around here. All right, moving on, guys, to not the AFC North. The Patriots announced they will be unveiling Tom Brady's statue this season. What better way to honor the GOAT than by doing it, not during a regular season game, a preseason game. What the hell are we doing here, guys? Preseason. In August. They missed a prime opportunity to do it week 1 against you-know-who, the Las Vegas Raiders, who someone I think is an owner of, right? Part owner of that. What are we doing here? I could have, my little cousin could have come up with that concept. It's a great idea to unveil a statue. But one fan tweeted, Patriots fans are very on board with this, by the way. They're very excited for the statue. One fan tweeted, if it's not the size of the Statue of Liberty, I'm crashing out. So that's good. That's good that Patriots fans have their expectations in check for this statue. They want it to be the size of frickin' Gillette Stadium, I'm telling you. It's going to be interesting, guys. But this got me thinking of all the other statues that are out there. Because immediately when you think sports statue, what do you think of? You think of all the fails, the absolute catastrophic sports statues that you're thinking, how did this person carve that in the dark? What are they doing? So I have a little list of probably the worst ones. Hopefully this one doesn't make the list because Tom Brady is already chiseled, right? He's got the jawline going on. He is basically a walking statue already. If you mess that up, you should not be in any part of sculpturing, okay? Go start making little bowls at this point. Your career done. So let's start with the number 3 worst statue, in my opinion, of all time, was Baker Mayfield. Do you guys remember this? Baker Mayfield statue? Receding hairline, looked nothing like him. It was like the hair was going off on different sides. The face was okay. The pose was pretty good, if I remember correctly. It's a full body statue. The hairline, though, and I think he had his headband on. It was supposed to look like a headband. It looked like he was balding. Terrible. Number 2, you knew this was coming. And this probably would have been my number 1, except I forgot about a meme that we circulated all the time when it first came out. We'll get to that in a second. Number 2 is D-Wade, the D-Wade statue from last year. Oh, atrocious. He looked, I think it was his son too. They made eye contact after it got unveiled and could not help but giggle slightly. It was bad. It was really bad. Looked like an old man that I'd never seen before. And number 1 is the Cristiano Ronaldo statue. Do you remember this with the weird, like one eye bigger than the other? which ironically, we'll get to that later. Those are my top 3 worst statues of all time. We'll see how this plays out, guys. Tom Brady statue. But you're going to see it preseason, so hilarious, Patriots. What are you doing? Do it in the regular season. Coming up next, you guys, we have former Steeler and current insider Max Starks joining us to break down Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers because there's so much to talk about. We might need therapy after this. Stay right here on the offensive line. All right, guys, welcome back to the offensive line. Joining us now, we have a 10-year NFL vet, 2-time Super Bowl champ, and current sideline reporter for the Pittsburgh Steelers radio network, the one and only Max Starks. Max, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure to be on these airwaves with you, Annie. And
love it.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to mention for the people, before you joined us, there was a slight delay, and in the email, you said a hashtag not Aaron Rodgers' fault. So we're already defending the guy. Is that what I'm getting from your take here? You're on the defend Aaron Rodgers team?
I referenced family issue with why I was behind schedule, and I knew, obviously all the hullabaloo when you say family issues, people automatically with football think of the whole Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers. So I wanted to make sure the clarification was that it was something good, but it was still family related, not directly to Aaron Rodgers, now a member of the Steelers family. Gotcha.
That might be the first time somebody used family and Aaron Rodgers in the same sentence. But that's good to know. Okay, this is where I want to start with you because obviously this is the talk of the town. Finally, it's June and he made a decision. You are on board with the Aaron Rodgers to Pittsburgh situation. Well, let's just get your stance on it first. Just a general, broad, how you're feeling about it, Max.
The first way that I felt about it, even all the way back when this was talked about and rumored, and then there was a visit, then there was the owners' meetings.
Yep.
I interviewed Mike Tomlin about this and Art Rooney, and my stance was, who else are we going to get? Who else is going to come in at this point? You didn't have the draft capital to move up and get a quarterback, and the ones that were available, obviously you waited till the 6th round to get Will Howard. You knew that you had a quality backup at Mason Rudolph, so it made sense go veteran like you did a year ago. And then try and bring a young guy in and bring him along. And I felt like for Aaron Rodgers, this is more redemption. And who wants to end their legacy the way that it ended with the Jets? That 2-year stint that was really 1 year and 4 plays. Who wants to end that way? And especially for a guy like Aaron Rodgers, I think you're going to get the best of him at this point.
Yeah. He doesn't want a Joe Namath on the Rams type of situation. He wants almost like a Brett Favre-esque ending, which is very ironic because that's his, predecessor. But yeah. And Favre put up and this is me defending him, put up great MVP numbers in his final season, potentially. Yeah. So anyway, I see Aaron Rodgers, and some people are saying it could be like lightning in a bottle because it could be the season that the Jets were expecting from him. Now they're getting it in Pittsburgh because it doesn't have to be Aaron Rodgers' team. He's coming into Pittsburgh. It's Mike Tomlin's team. In New York, they needed it to be Aaron Rodgers' team. So the current, and we're going to play a little game in a little bit, but the current version of Aaron Rodgers, does it concern you at all because of the age and the injury-prone situation there? Is that a concern? Because you said they needed a vet guy. They weren't going to roll out Mason Rudolph. That Pittsburgh would have, oh my gosh, they would have been at Tomlin's door with torches. This was that they needed a vet guy to give them an actual chance instead of just rolling over and playing dead. So Aaron Rodgers' current situation, does that concern you at all?
I don't think it does. Given the way the Steelers are built, they're built around a defense, and you have Cameron Hayward and T.J. Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick as your veteran leaders. A very young offense, but a good offense around him. You go in, you bring a DK Metcalf in. Yes, you unload a George Pickens, but you're going to see what Roman Wilson has in a second year. You have a Calvin, plus you have Pat Fryermuth and Darnell Washington. So you have great aerial targets, and you have a solid run game. Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren have been there, done that, guys. And you bring on a young kid in Caleb Johnson, who's a physical downhill runner, a la Najee Harris without the fullback that ran at Iowa. I mean, it doesn't get tougher than that, right? For a running back. Right. So I think when you compare all those things, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to put on the cape every time, but he's going to have to put the cape on at least 2 to 3 games and win you those games. And I think that's why you bring a veteran in, because you don't want to put all that pressure on a rookie.
And we saw some of that in New York. The numbers were up there. Not so much the rushing, but the passing numbers were up there. I want to talk about Tomlin and Rodgers because we know they have a relationship. and Rodgers is known for his some off the field distractions. Tomlin, you know him a lot better than I do, but we don't think as fans that he'll put up with that. So what's the kind of relationship you see with Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers there?
Well, I think it's one of those things like Mike Tomlin intimated, hey, we're in constant contact with each other since the visit. They had a 6-hour visit. So I think there's already a mutual understanding about how things go the Steeler way over the Aaron Rodgers way. And yeah, I'm sure there'll be some type of compromise there, but I think, Aaron's earned that, but also Aaron respects Mike Tomlin enough to not overstep his boundaries.
Yeah.
Just like with the offense, like you're going to have to compromise some with Arthur Smith's offense to suit Aaron Rodgers. You're going to need to have a couple of no huddle, let him go out there and conduct like a train conductor, everything that's going on a couple of times, let him freestyle, but still also run the game plan as written and a lot of things. And he'll have an intimate approach in that. So I think there's compromise, but I think it's a good compromise because there's a lot of respect between both individuals.
That's good. And I think that's big for Aaron because he will not. I mean, respect, I'm sure, is huge. And look, like even with Pat McAfee, like he'll only go on shows where there's a mutual understanding. He doesn't. He does a lot of freestyling. Let's say, like you said, he's a freestyler. Like apparently he's married, which no one knows about. Did you know anything about that? First of all, insider information.
I heard about that later. Yes.
Yeah.
Was not aware.
I think everybody did. I think even his wife did. I don't think his wife even.
Yeah. She's like, what? What? I mean,
we're married now. Oh, cool. Okay.
I'm not going to make any references to former players and having imaginary. Anyways.
Right. No.
Stay on topic.
Who did that? I don't even remember that. It's not like there's a documentary about it or anything. Okay, we talked a little bit about the last question before we play our little game. We talked a little bit about this Week 8 matchup, Sunday Night Football. I am ecstatic for this. I think it's going to be absolutely electric matchup. But is it weird, first of all, that Rodgers beat Tomlin and obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers to win a Super Bowl, and this matchup is going to be insane? Is it am I putting enough pressure on it? Like it's going to be a great game, right? I mean, what are your expectations from that game? Well,
I think you get two great games because I think Week 1 you're going to get it right out the gates, right? It's the Jets. It's the opening day quarterback swap. This was Steeler fans were thinking Justin Fields was going to be here. He's not. He's starting for the Jets. And the Jets were probably thinking Aaron Rodgers will be there for another year. He's not. He's starting for the Steelers. So you get it Week 1, and then you get this historical rivalry, first time back in Lambeau type of feel for Aaron Rodgers. So it's going to be electric no matter what happens. So I feel like you're going to feel the tension in this matchup like very early, and it's going to permeate throughout the entire matchup. Guys are going to play a little bit harder. You're going to hit a little bit later. It's going to be some trash talk. So
might be some flags thrown in there. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. I feel like I'm just as excited about this as I was for like Packers Bears. Like that's obviously huge, and I'm in Chicago. I don't know if you even knew that. So that's a big. Like I go to the bars in my all Packers gear, so I feel like I'm going to be that excited for this matchup. For sure.
Oh wow!
Probably more
so you're
excited.
that fan. You're that fan.
I am. I'm the obnoxious one. Yeah, that's. They haven't kicked me out yet. So, All right. Well, it sounds like you've bought into this idea of Rodgers. Will you change my mind? Probably not. But we're at a good starting point. I followed the guy long enough to know that there are some things to worry about. There's some concerns, some question marks. So we're gonna play a little game. And we're just going to very simply, does it worry you is the name of the game. So what I'm going to do is specify a few things that could be a concern. And you're going to tell me if they would or would not worry you in regards to Aaron Rodgers. Does that sound good?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Perfect. Okay, starting off strong. Does it worry you that Rodgers waited for forever to sign and then missed OTAs? The missed OTAs part is that's very Rodgers-esque. But does it worry you that it took Rodgers forever to sign with Pittsburgh?
No, because once Tomlin and Rooney said that they were going to wait for him and that they were in constant contact with him, it didn't bother. Actually, I gave it till the end of June. So he actually technically.
Wow, he was ahead of schedule in your mind.
He was ahead. And I talked with Cam Hayward, did his show during draft weekend, and we had talked about being a vet. And also Cam was okay with it. He's like, people want now. We're in the microwave society. We don't like slow cookers unless we're busy. So he was like, I'm fine with it. Dude's played 19 years in the league. Like, why am I rushing him to get there if he's not ready? Like, give him the time, work out whatever he is. So when he steps in the building, 10 toes in, committed, and I feel like he is that.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. And my next one is going to be about the injury and his health, but we already kind of talked about that. Well, you said it wasn't too much of a concern because how he fits in the system. Just to remind everyone, man, I'm defending you, defending him. This is a bad chain of command here. It's terrible.
That's great.
Quick side note, somebody said to watch his documentary because it'll make me appreciate him more. Have you watched it, and do I need to watch it?
No, I have not watched it.
Okay.
And
I feel like I'm the only one out there that hasn't watched Enigma.
I'm going to have to watch it, obviously, because I will be referencing him during training camp. So that'll probably be on one of my retreats.
Oh. Well, you'll have to give us. You should vlog the whole thing and give us honest reaction to each episode. It's like
exactly. Just have like a GoPro right in my face.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, I would do that, but some choice words would be. It wouldn't be PG. Let's just say that. Okay. Does it worry you that Pittsburgh preferred Justin Fields over Aaron Rodgers when Fields couldn't even start last year over Russell Wilson? Was that a concern to you at all?
No, because I think everybody has their shortcomings. And once again, the Steelers historically rely on the resume, right? And what have you done in this league? And it gets no better than what have you done in this league than beating us head to head in the Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. So you have that and the respect that they've shown to each other. And I think also when Aaron's going through this process, looking at it, nobody else has been in the league as long as the coach that he went. Like you think about, he won his only Super Bowl in Super Bowl 45. We just finished our 58th Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, or 59th Super Bowl, I think. So the fact that he's still there, same team, I think a lot can be said for that. And when you think about the respect that a coach has for a player and a player has for a coach, that history plays into it. And I think that's why this was a landing spot for him versus chasing the Vikings and trying to beat out a young guy in JJ McCarthy. Like you had a spot that wants you there and that has also built weapons around you. So it's not all on you.
Unironically, this is actually an extremely good fit. I know people are freaking out about it. I think it's hilarious how well maybe this worked out for both parties. I have two funny kind of ish questions that you may or may not should be worried about. Does it worry you that Rodgers looks like he's auditioning for a role in Spaceballs 2 with this new helmet? Did you see his helmet? It's like a massive. Helmet. Okay. Does that concern you at all? What is that?
Safety first. I mean, we've had the Marvin the Martian, protection deals on there, and we make fun of that. They look like the kazoo out there for all those old enough to know the Flintstone references.
Right, got that.
So putting on dark helmet, why not? Why not? I mean, Rick Moranis is not coming back anytime soon to play dark helmet, so you got to deal with it.
Okay, and the last one. We talked about off-field distractions. Does it worry you that he's already got, and pun intended, his eye on other things? I don't know if you saw this tweet. He posted the Steelers put out the first picture of him in a Steelers jersey. His eye, Max, one eye is going off this way. It looks like it's edited and it's bigger. It's opened more and it looks like it's looking in a totally different direction than his other eye is. I'm not saying too much ayahuasca, but I am. I don't know what's going on there.
He's looking off the blitz. He's keeping deep safety held off to the right side so he can throw back to the left. No matter
which way it comes from. Exactly.
Dead shot, baby. He's got that dead shot, that little bullseye eyeball on there.
That's why Arthur Smith loves him, because Arthur Smith too likes it when nobody knows what's coming next. So maybe Aaron Rodgers can see the whole field. See any direction.
I mean, he literally can see the whole field. He's like an owl.
That is the key to his success. His just eyes are going in different directions. I love it. Okay, well that begs the question: does anything concern you with him? Do you literally? This is my parting question to you, Max. Do you have literally any concern with Aaron Rodgers? I
mean, obviously, I'm always going to have the health problem because it's never a matter. If it's always a matter of when in the NFL, right? Attrition adversity is going to happen. Mm-hmm. How does Aaron respond? How does the team respond in those adverse situations, whether it's a nick, a bruise, an injury that limits him? Mm-hmm. If things don't go well in one of these tight games, especially in the AFC North, what's the emotional repercussions? I mean, even though I'd like to say that the Steelers, outside of like All My Children, we have dealt with our fair share of soap opera drama, on the offensive side of the ball. But that's going to be always my question. How do you handle it? I'd like to think that Aaron's 1 year more removed from being healthy from the last time he was injured. So therefore there's a confidence there, because it usually takes a year. When you have I had an ACL. It took me a year before I trusted my right knee, fully. I was always guarded. I was always worried, hey, if I open up or if I do this, what am I going to do? So I think if he can be free of that and not constantly thinking about it in the back of his mind. And also, trust the system, trust the process, trust his teammates, as well as them trusting him. Because I think one of the biggest things that led to Russell Wilson kind of not having an opportunity to come back was there was a sense of losing the locker room. And what I've always heard, he has not been that type of guy that's lost the locker room. His teammates love him. So that's going to be in the back of my mind. I'm going to put it in my back pocket, and I'm always going to worry about it. I'm always going to check on it. But that's going to be my insecurity versus maybe what they see and what they're going to experience as we go into training camp in July and as we progress to the beginning of the season for that season opener against the Jets.
Yeah, I do feel, and this is a concern of mine, I do feel like we're a lot closer to a killer year from Aaron Rodgers this year than we were in any with the Jets. Like, even when he signed with them, you were like, what? It's the Jets. Like, this is doomed to fail.
And then the way he had to build that team, right? It was
all they were forcing a relationship with Sauce Gardner. Yeah. Go out to dinner with Garrett Wilson. These kids, there's like a 30-year age gap there. This is a bunch of vets now. He loves Tomlin. Like, it's totally a different fit, it feels like.
And Cam Hayward and TJ Watt have sacked him enough that he's not going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're good.
Ouch. Okay, you know what? That was a low blow. Super Bowl. Just remember the Super Bowl. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Trust me, can't forget it. That prevented me from going 3 for 3. I went 2 out of 3 because of Aaron. So yes.
Should he have more than one ring? Maybe. I guess he does. So he's got his wife, whoever she may be.
Yeah, if they don't kick the field goal, I mean, in the NFC Championship game. Anyways, decisions.
Anyway, thank you for that. Well, thank everyone, Max, for coming on the show. He'll never return again, but it was a good while it lasted. No, I appreciate it, Max. Thanks so much for taking the time today. I'm sure we'll have you back. We need some more Steelers inside information.
Absolutely. My pleasure. This was a blast.
Awesome. You're the best. All right, guys, stay tuned. We have a new chapter in the fastest beef on earth coming up right here on the offensive line. Guys, welcome back to the offensive line. Tyreek Hill is in the news again, our good old friend. He will not let his feud with Noah Lyles die. Days after Speed left Ashton Hall face planting in multiple races, Tyreek posted a 10, 15, 100-meter dash and immediately called out Noah Lyles. Immediately, saying Noah could never. Rent-free, my guy. Well, that is a bold claim, considering Lyles ran a 9.79 to win Olympic gold. Lyles also ran a 10.14 right after his 18th birthday. So are we saying Lyles cannot possibly run slower? Is he can't run that slow? Just curious. I'd like a little specification there. But that beef did get me thinking, you guys. What if other NFL players called out pros in other fields? There's a couple comparisons I can make here. A couple people I could think of that would be called out. So first off, let's start with, what if Saquon called somebody out? What if he challenged an Olympic hurdler? Obviously, that Olympic hurdler would have to hurdle backwards, though. So I think he'd win that challenge. Or what about Bryce Young? What if Bryce Young called out, I don't know, Simone Biles on who's shorter? Or what if we did a Dak Prescott? What if he challenged, who would his counterpart be? Probably Michael Phelps, since they both are trying to stay above water, especially in the playoffs. And lastly, Tyreek. He's already called somebody out. What if he called out Nick Cannon? That's somebody a little bit more his pace. They've got about the same number of kids somewhere in there. Who could out-kid the other person? This would be a very interesting reality TV show, I'm sure. We could do head-to-head challenges. I would be on board with it. E-News, get on that. All right, guys. Lastly, my favorite part of the show. And man, do I have a good one today. It is time for No Offense. It's a safe place to get things off your chest. This one's going to be a little personal. You're going to tell because my voice will probably get a little bit more animated. This one is a personal experience that happened this weekend. So without further ado, no offense, but there should be no reason to have quiet during golf. I know what you're thinking. What does she mean? The sport itself should be quiet. Guys, this weekend, I went to the LPGA in my hometown of Grand Rapids, Michigan. We do it every year for my dad for Father's Day. They give us tickets there. It's a great experience, wonderful. Everything is lovely about it. However, when it comes to walking, you can't walk a damn foot when they're putting. You're telling me. Then they do the little quiet signs that get raised. Everybody hushes. Everybody has to be quiet. Nobody can walk. I'm 2 holes away from someone that's 10-foot putting, and I can't walk. So you're telling me a quarterback, okay? at the line of scrimmage can tell 10 different guys a 50-word play on third down when hundreds of thousands of fans are screaming and shouting and shaking keys. You're telling me he can get that play off while a coach is in his ear, but I can't walk? I can't have little clippity clops of my boots on the pavement while you're trying to putt. Have some strength, okay? Get some mental toughness. Unbelievable. Golf is ridiculous, guys. Do I play it still? Absolutely. Will I throw a club into the water occasionally? Maybe. It's the most frustrating sport and most lovable sport I've ever seen in my life. Like football. Football, you hate the team, right? You get mad at your team's losing, you're on a bad streak. Fine, get mad at the team. Golf, I've never gotten mad at the actual sport and how stupid it is. Don't tell me to shh, all right? You expect me to be, if someone is approach shot, you expect me to be quieter than Cowboys fans in the playoffs. No, I'm not doing it. That's my rant of the day, guys. Unbelievable. I'm going to take that stupid quiet sign and chuck it right where I throw my golf club. And knowing my accuracy will not go far. Anyway, it was pissing me off, you guys. Couldn't believe it. And I'm fine if it's on, I'm going to stop. But if I'm at the hole, I get it. I get you don't want a distraction. 2 holes away. Gosh, probably where my drive would have gone anyway. All right, you guys, that's it for this week on The Offensive Line. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and you can watch our full podcast episodes on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. I love being in California, guys. I'm in studio with you here. I'm sure we'll be back here at some point, but in the meantime, stay tuned with us. And as always, you guys, Des didn't catch it.